Hey guys, I'm Michael Hernandez, and I wish I can find the amount of joy in anything as my kids find in bubblegum. If you ask them 4 words, do you want gum? They will lose their minds. All you got to do, just say, hey, Link, you want some gum? He will turn around. Hey guys, welcome to Rumble Book Club. I'm your host, Michael Hernandez, and this is the show where a normal guy like me can talk about interesting books I've read, old and new, good and bad. So if you like these videos, you like the books that I'm talking about, you want to be a part of the discussion, follow me on Rumble, follow me on Parler. It's all the same thing, Rumble Book Club. And comment, share, let me know what you think. Let me know if there's any books that you want me to read and talk about on the show, and I'll put it on the list. Before we get started, I do want to talk about our charity focus, and today that is the Texas Pregnancy Care Network. Women across the country are too often subjected to the journey of motherhood alone. In many cases, especially the first time, they can be scared and need help. The Texas Pregnancy Care Network has made it their mission to provide counsel, support, and opportunity for mothers who are alone and in desperate need. From physical requirements like diapers and clothes and temporary shelter, and God knows I went through quite a bit of that with my kids, to mental emotional needs like career education counseling and classes, TPCN is giving mothers and children all over Texas a chance to experience God's gift of a family. So if you do want to give to this organization, you do want to contribute to mothers and children in need, give them a call. It's 877-345-7734. That's 877-345-7734. Or you can go to their website at texaspregnancy.org. That's texaspregnancy.org. All right, so this is another summer-themed book, although in quite a different direction, similar direction from one of my earlier videos. We're going to take a look at one of the several Pacific War in the Pacific books that I've read, although this one stuck with me definitely more than many of the others. Today we're going to take a look at In Harm's Way by Doug Stanton. So this is an account of the horrifying story of the USS Indianapolis and its unfortunate crew. On July 30th, 1945, the USS Indianapolis was sunk by a Japanese submarine. So 900 were able to survive that ordeal, but 2/3 of that 900 wouldn't survive the following 4 days out on the open ocean. So it is a bone-chilling piece of writing. It's a bone-chilling story, and I think it's one that every American that studies World War II should know about. There's a lot surrounding why they were out there, why it took so long for them to be found. It details all that in the book. I don't want to give away too much. So let's get into our three-part critique of the book. Now, looking at the aesthetics, it is a little bit busy with the wording at least, but it has a very clear title. It's very broad in the front, and the image of the battleship is kind of vague, so that it's not too distracting. So in the very least, it has that going for it. It's got good size for its thickness. It's not too large of a piece. I don't like books when they're really, really big, unless the thickness is unbelievable. Like a Bible, that would be the one exception. So I'll rate it strong at an 8 out of 10. Now, looking at the readability, it's quick, it's frightening, it's direct. Stanton makes it very easy to understand concepts of naval warfare, of biology and chemistry having to do with what happens to the body when you're out there in salt water for 4 days. He really gets into it in really brutal detail what happens, and you learn quite a bit despite the fact that you're horrified with what you're reading. And it's got clear font, off-white pages. That's always a plus. It does have some photos that definitely help you understand the people that played a role in this, the battle itself, the mapping of where it was. So as far as readability, it's very easy to read. Even a dummy like me can open it and learn quite a bit from it. So strong 10 out of 10 for readability. Now, looking at the content, it is terrifying. It is humbling knowing that these were, for the most part, just young men, boys, essentially, that were seeing their nightmares come to life in real form. It is definitely not a read for the faint of heart. So you actually learn different accounts. It follows the Japanese naval commander Hashimoto. I'm probably butchering the name, but hey, I'm kind of a dummy, so excuse me there. It follows his perspective on what he was looking for in that submarine, the pressures that were on him to try and identify the Indianapolis for what it was. It follows the American soldiers. Charles McVeigh was a captain who had a group with him. Lewis Haynes, who was the doctor, the ship's doctor, who had a group with him. And I think his name was Giles McCoy, who was a Marine, who had another group with him. So when the ship sank, these were groups that initially were together and then they drifted apart, and which makes it even more frightening. The fact that it adds another layer of concern. You're not just a part of this massive group. You're part of these smaller groups. That makes it even less likely that you're able to fight off things like sharks. And so you have these groups just out in the open water. There's not enough life rafts to have everyone in them. So you've got people free floating in this salt water. You've got sharks. You've got hypothermia. You've got exposure, sun poisoning. And at one point, Stanton talks about what happens to your skin when it's submerged for that long, and that one really stuck with me. That one really really messed me up reading about it. So he talks about your skin has oils in it, right? And when you're submerged in water, especially salt water, it is washing out those oils, and so your skin being deprived of that, becomes really rubbery, and then it just starts to slough off. So he in one part of it, he talks about how all these sharks are amassing in a feeding frenzy, trying to get at these guys, and just their rough tail whipping across is just sloughing off whole parts of their skin, and it is, it really makes you appreciate the sacrifice of these young men who believed in this country and the concept of patriotism, the concepts of good and evil. They entered this war to stop evil forces, from dominating America, dominating their homeland. And they go out to war and they see these horrors and they come back, and they're never the same. Of the 900 that went in the water, it was like 317 survived this ordeal. And another account, they're trying to pull these guys, when they finally were rescued, they're trying to pull these guys out of the water, and one of the guys, they start pulling him up and his skin just rips off. I mean, these are people that were put in an unimaginable situation, and they put it all on the line with the purpose of protecting their homeland, and it really gives you an appreciation for that. So despite the fact that it can be a hard book to stomach at times, I highly recommend it. As far as the content, it is a strong 10 out of 10. It is a life changer when you read it, and it helps you understand more about World War II and the war in the Pacific. So I highly recommend it. I got this at Barnes & Noble. You can get it at your local bookstore provider. If all else fails, go to Amazon or eBay. I really appreciate y'all tuning in, especially for a sober topic like this one. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And you know what? Go read something. Go read a book.